Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Arabic grammar with examples from ayat of the Quran following the order of the Madinah book syllabus. And today's lesson is continuing with the plural nouns, jam. And the ayat that we're going to be looking at is in Surah Tawbah, ayat number 71, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is part of the ayat, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. The believing men and the believing women are allies of one another. Like I mentioned in the last lesson, plurals are two types: jam'u salim, which are sound plurals, or jam'u taksir, which are broken plurals. Or another way to look at it is going to be regular plurals or irregular. So you have the word here, for example, men, and that's plural, and you have women, that's plural, but it's a irregular plural, meaning that the word itself has changed. You don't just add s to the end. Okay. However, in Arabic, these are considered regular plurals. What do I mean by that? The masculine, this form here, because you have masculine and feminine plurals, the masculine form is made by adding a waw and a noon to the end of the word. So you take the word al-mu'min, which is believer. Okay, you take the word al-mu'min and you add a waw and a noon to the end to make plural, or a ya and a noon if it's in the case of genitive, majroor case, or in the case of accusative, mansoob case. Depends on where it is in the sentence. Just to give you a quick example, if you said, I saw the Muslims, I saw the Muslims. Here it's the object, so it's in the accusative case. Ra'aytu al-muslimina, right? But if you said the Muslims saw, right? You say, or the Muslims went, the Muslims came. Ja'a al-muslimuna, i.e. it's in the nominative case here, the marfu case. So that's just a quick example, but you'll be covering this more when you do the Arabic lesson itself in Madinah book. So it says وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. Okay, here you have alif and ta ending. So you've got the same word mu'min as you have here, but to make the plural this time, instead of adding a waw or noon to the end, like you did for the masculine, you add a alif and a ta to the end. And then if it's in the marfu case, i.e. it's in the position of being the subject, it will have a dhamma ending. If it's in the position of being the object, for example, or in the mansoob case or the majroor case, it will have a kasra at the end, or kasratain of some sort, right? If it doesn't have alif and lam at the beginning of it. So that gives you two examples of this. This is jam as-salim, sound plural, i.e. regular plural, and there's two types: mudhakkar, which is masculine, or it's mu'annath, which is feminine, and each one has its own ending. Okay, so that's the grammar covered. Also, while we're at it, there's the word allies. As you see, it's got an S ending, so it shows you that it's plural. The word for allies is awliya'u, right? The singular is wali. So you can see now the wali becomes awliya, right? What type of plural is it? It's a taksir, a broken or irregular plural. I haven't added waw or noon to the end of alif and ta. Instead, the word has changed completely from wali to awliya. Alright, so here you have an example of a broken plural. So this ayah, it shows you masculine sound masculine plural, sound feminine plural, and it shows you an example of a broken plural. A last thing is this hum, ba'duhum awliya'u ba'din, is referring back to the believers, male and female. Right, so it's a plural pronoun. Okay, it's a plural pronoun. Some, are allies of one another. Some of them are allies for others. And that's what the literal translation will be. So let's have a quick look at the meaning of the ayah. It says, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ. This is the subject, right? They believe in men and they believe in women. It's the subject of the sentence. That waw is and it's not translated in a sentence, but it comes at the beginning of sentences. But in English, you wouldn't start a sentence in and. and the believing Muslims, male Muslims, the male believers, and the female believers, right? In Arabic, it's one word because the word itself has gender, but because in English words are neutral gender, you have to add the word men and women in the translation. So وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, i.e. the believer. Who's a believer? The one that believes in Allah, believe and submits, right? The one that believes in Allah and submits to Islam. بَعْضُهُمْ, some of them, they are awliya ba'dhin, one another. They are allies of one another. What does it mean to be an ally? It means a supporter. Alright, it means a person that helps. It means a person that supports, a person that helps, a person. They're allies of one another in the deen of Islam. Right? So they're brothers, they're sisters, for example. Okay, and this shows you the bond in Islam, i.e. the bond of fraternity, of brotherhood, is based upon the deen. And it's a strong bond. What does it mean? It means, for example, you're there for them when they need your help, you support them financially, when they are struggling financially, right? It's something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this, after Allah mentions, for example, the rest of the ayah, يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَيُطِيعُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Alright, so they enjoy good and they forbid evil, they establish the salat, they give the zakat, they obey Allah and His Messenger. They're the ones who Allah will have mercy upon, and Allah is Azizun and Hakim. So this ayah is, when is it mentioned? It's mentioned after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the hal and the state of the hypocrites. And the state of the hypocrites and their punishment. And they don't really help one another except in a deceit and in a deception. Okay, but and then Allah mentions the state of the believers to show you the true help, the true support, the true brotherhood, the true fraternity which exists amongst them. So the ayah, which is only, again, 5 words, it has examples of sound masculine plural, sound feminine plural, and broken plural. And it says, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. Right? And this is the word, the believers, male believers. Mu'minuna. A waw and noon ending. Okay, so that's the grammar for today's lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.